Hi there! So I continue my expedition to Africa looking for the gemstones, and this time I visited the mining of the most expensive garnets in the world, which are green garnets or tsavorites. So I'll make some comments before we proceed with the video, so you would understand what is what. So first of all, you'll see how many bottles of water we loaded in our car this time. There were not an inch left inside, so it was absolutely uncomfortable to drive like that. But I know how many people need it here in Savannah. So we took as much as we could. I also need to tell you that these videos from Africa, they are always partly about gems, partly about Maasai. Because here, both in Tanzania or Kenya, these two aspects are always closely connected, as the mining is usually located in their habitat. So you encounter them inevitably. By the way, I digged out some very interesting scientific materials about Maasai culture and religions. And yes, it's exactly religions, because they mix the tradition of paganism and Christianity. So I found myself in a very unique situation when I can read the book during the day and then pop in the bar which is right behind my house, here to discuss immediately what I've read with Maasai themselves. They hang out there every day. And yes, they speak very decent English, because it appeared that most of subjects in schools are taught in English, and the school books are in English as well. So anyway, I buy those guys a beer and ask them all sorts of questions about their culture, going steadily through my books. I think I'll need another month to prepare the special video only about Maasai and everything what is related to them. It will be interesting as these people still maintain their traditional lifestyle. And what is the most important, all in the video will be very much true, because I check all the information with Maasai personally, and they're literally like, yep, that's right, or no, we don't have anything like that. They also add a lot of details which they don't write in books, so I'd say that the video actually will be unique even from the scientific point of view. And you'll see the truth about Maasai, especially about Maasai warriors. Because usually in films they picture Maasai or Vikings or Mongols etc. as some kind of bums, always dirty and ugly, but as I'm doing historical reconstruction I can say that's not true. And Maasai can be an excellent example of it, because in their tradition every man eventually becomes a warrior. They always have their weapon on them, even when they grow old. I saw once very old guy who was already almost blind and couldn't walk properly, but even he would wear the sword on a belt. Because once you become a warrior, it stays with you forever. So you may notice that not a single one of them was looking less than perfect. I've seen many Maasai, their clothes are always clean and neat, their weapon is well maintained, their backs are straight. So from the first sight you can tell, here is a proud warrior. They don't even allow themselves to lie on the ground. For example, when Bantu herd the cattle, they may lay down on a dusty road if there is nothing else to do. But Maasai would never do such a thing, always on their feet. So it means that they know how honored they are to be a warrior, and they make sure that they look and behave accordingly. And that requires a lot of efforts. Because, for example, even I looked much worse after one day in Savannah, even though I was traveling in the car than they normally do. I don't know honestly what kind of magic is that, as they don't even have water to wash their face or something, but still look perfectly clean. Do you remember an alcoholic Maasai from the previous video about the moonstone? So even he still looked like he's ready to go on the red carpet. And that is a standard for a professional warrior, always. Because they are the face and honor of their tribe. So do remember that, and don't trust Hollywood stories. I'll try to make more videos with local Maasai, so you would see with your own eyes. You'll be surprised how fancy do they look, with their cool haircuts, piercing, necklaces, and so on. A kind of a tribal chic. And Maasai are not the only ones. Vikings, Mongols, Slavics, and all the others used to have it. Because warriors used to be the wealthiest and the most noble class in ancient society. You will also see the shacks in the video. So before you start sending the comments about poor life of people in Africa, I need to tell you that this is just a temporary and very quick settlement for miners who just arrived and they don't know yet how long do they need to stay. It might be so the next day they'll have to move on, for example. So they just build something to spend a night or a couple, and that's it. So don't take it wrong, what you'll see is not an average house. People do know how to build a proper house with nice furniture and kitchen. I'll also be telling you about severites, of course. You'll hear my voice on the background while enjoying the landscapes, because I believe it's better than just watching my face all the time. So this is the gifts from us, water and bread. The spot in the corners for the mining owner. We have to pick him up first. So we've been on the road for quite a long time. And our guide can't cope with water falling on him all the time. So we decided to start giving it away now. And I must say, it's not easy to make a gift to Maasai. You see, they don't come out instantly. Firstly, they need to question us to make sure that we mean no harm. They also don't believe that I want to give them water for free. We asked where do they usually get water from. It appeared to be that lake. Do you see it? But the water from it's very, very bad. They're trying to filter that and boil it. But still, it's not helping much. And another problem is that they don't speak Swahili, while our guy doesn't speak the language too. Only this guy wearing a coat, who is the owner of a mining, can speak very little, as he lives in this area. But even that doesn't help much, because it seems like he speaks the wrong dialect, which are many here. You see, not everyone dares to communicate. Some decided to go and hide. And here's another house made of shit and sticks. And here doesn't mean that it's bad. Because as I showed you in the previous video, they really make the carcass from sticks and they cover it with mixed clay and manure. You can see yourself. This thing to the right is a place where they dry their clothes, I think. But it gives an idea how does the carcass shall look like. So we finally figured out what this long discussion was about. They refused in the beginning to accept water because they couldn't believe that it's actually for free. We had to repeat it again and again and again while until they believed us. So you see, they took several packs. Hi, doggo. It's also very slim, like any other living creature here. You don't gain fat in such climate and lifestyle. Okay, moving next. Do you see that gray-haired gentleman? He's the husband for that young woman. They have more than 30-year difference in age, and she's not the only one. Here the welcome polygamy, the same as a big difference in age, because old husband means rich husband. Maybe he can even have 2 houses, made from you know what. They also asked some bread, so we gave them several packs as well. What else do they say about water issue here? Some of you ask me why I bring water instead of sponsoring boring of the well, which costs about $4,000 to $6,000. I would be glad to spend this money, it's not a problem. I actually arranged boring of a well near the local school and I plan to vote more. But for Maasai it's not a decision, because they're semi-nomads. They stay here while the cows have any food around. After half a year or so they'll have to move on, following their cows. And hence, they'll need a new bore in the new place. Again, no longer than for several months. You see, as soon as they start to trust us a bit, they become very chatty. So let's have a look at their household. As you asked me many times to show you more about the life of common people here. So here it is. This is the fence from thorn bush. It goes all the way around the settlement, protecting from wild animals. I'm going to prove it right now. For human it's not a big deal to cross it. Yeah, that's it. About the water. I told you it's very poor quality of that here. I wish my iPhone could reveal the true colors, but no. So it's actually pinkish purple. Beautiful but not suitable for drinking. Yeah, this is the tree which branches they use to build a fence. To cross this one I wouldn't dare though. It's high and very thorny. I read about such fences in the adventure books when I was a child. Now I see that's indeed very effective protection. I don't think that any kind of animal would like to try to overcome it. Look at that. They're very sharp. Aha, over there it's another fence. I guess here they keep the cattle in the night. It's another reason why Maasai always carry their machete with them. Because if you happen to meet the knight away from home, using their machete they can build such a fence around to survive till the sunrise. Otherwise there are big chances to be eaten. Climbing the tree here is not an option, as there are not tall trees. By the way, I want to say a special thank you for my guide, because as soon as he got to know what I usually film and what I'm interested in, he found for me the family of local blacksmiths who actually make Masai machete and all the other stuff. And he promised to arrange the interview with them. So I got very lucky with people again. How many people do you think live here? I'll tell you, it's 7. Please don't panic. It's less awful than it sounds. Because in such climate with their lifestyle, they don't actually need a house much. Even just a roof would be enough. I'll try to show you the house from the inside, but it's dark there. So I just don't know how much you'll be able to see. Okay, let's go inside. Well, let's see if I can actually fit this doorway. Masai are much slimmer than me. So basically here's just a big bed occupying the whole room. Aha, here's the same. Some kind of a bed under several layers of cow skin. And young ibex are hidden here. Hidden from wild animals in the house. By the way, we all having a flu and many other diseases to this pretty tradition of keeping the cubs in the house. About local diet. Yeah, the same like in Papua. They do have a lot of cows, but that doesn't mean they eat a lot of meat. They usually cook crops, mostly sorghum porridge, and milk of course. They're actually one of the tribes who has been consuming milk longer than anyone else. If I'm not mistaken. Maybe that's the reason why do they have such long bones. As they're very tall with long legs and hands. And this is not very normal for people who have such a poor diet. One of the local features is the drink made of cow milk and blood. Sometimes on special occasion they pierce the vein to get some blood, mix it with milk and drink. It doesn't kill the cow, by the way. Don't worry about that. Meat is only for really big celebration. Because cows are money first of all, not a meal. We need them to buy something or to marry a girl, for example, and so on. Local coin, in other words, just with horns. And the very last thing, the toilet. How do you think, where is it? The right answer is everywhere. Well, that does have some advantages sometimes. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. They always find it very amusing to touch a white-skinned person. The best attraction. Bye-bye. Jesus bless you. That's what they've been saying to me. Another funny moment. Do you remember that gray-haired guy? So he's got problems with limbs because he had his leg broken and the bones healed in the wrong position. He's also half blind. People say it's because of water from that lake, and after seeing its color, I actually might believe them. So she told us to grab some pills the next time, if we are to pass by them again. What do you think the pills are for? For his leg? Or eyes? No, she asked to bring Viagra. Yes, she said that he's having some troubles with that, while she is still young and passionate. Moreover, there are 2 more wives who are even younger. That's funny. So let's talk about what exactly we're going to mine today. It's green garnets or tsavorites. They were discovered very recently, actually, in 1967. Firstly, they were mined in Tanzania and a bit later in Kenya. Their name, though, origin from a place in Kenya, Tsavo. However, you shall understand that by the matter of fact, both Tanzania and Kenya have access to the same deposit, which is Kilimanjaro. Because these 2 countries have access to the mountain, just from the opposite sides. If you ever been to safari in Kenya, you might actually know the name Tsavo. This is how they call national parks. So the surroundings of Kilimanjaro is the only place in the world where they mine a proper quality tsavorites. Sometimes they might pop in Madagascar, but very few, like several pieces over decades. And there are also some in Pamir, but their green garnets are extremely bad. So Tanzania and Kenya is the only option. What else? The price depends on the size a lot, meaning that big tsavorite costs way higher per carat than a small one. Why is that? You'll see on the video later that tsavorites are crystals embedded into rocks. So when we try to chop off the rocks to get to the garnet, it often gets damaged too. And unfortunately, there is no other way to do it yet. So we have to work with tiny pieces mostly. That's why 2 carats tsavorite can be about $2,000, while 10 carats will be over $40,000. For example, heart-shaped tsavorite, which you can see on the video, is 5 carats. And this is supposed to be a very big stone. That one is already sold out, of course. And to be honest, I'm struggling now to find the same size for another customer. 2-3 carats is not a problem, but 5 plus, not easy to find. Another important feature of tsavorites is that they, unlike emeralds, are not treated. For example, emeralds are mostly glazed with mineral oils. So from time to time you have to do the maintenance. Otherwise that oil will evaporate eventually. Natural tsavorites don't need that through any other kind of treatment, even heating. However, why do I say natural? It's because there are many forgeries. Moreover, tsavorites is a good investment, because for example emeralds are mined in different places, so the price is growing but not too fast. However, tsavorites prices fly like a rocket. What I've sold several years ago for $600 or $800 now costs more than $2,000. Like $2,500 or $600. So if you want to invest money, that's a great opportunity. Especially because in Sri Lanka I have a friend who holds in his possession a collection of tsavorites, which he bought about 10 years ago. And he sells tsavorites for $2,500. While here in Kenya the same kind of tsavorites is already about $5,000. He suggested me to buy the whole lot, but unfortunately I can't buy all the gems of the world. Moreover, I have already spent almost free cash on very nice samples. Because during pandemic people needed money, so there were quite a lot of good gems for very handsome prices. And by handsome prices I mean those which are even lower than the market price. So after 5 hours drive we finally arrived. The off-road wasn't easy, as you may have seen from the previous video, as it's very bumpy, the weather is super hot and the dust is everywhere. But again we have seen a lot of different animals. Giraffes, toucan, meerkat and many others. So in the village of miners. Here Maasai and all others live together, and we need to make arrangements with local manager, because, you understand, we can't just come and start digging. The houses are as usual made of you-know-what. And here's the house of manager, as you can see. More solid one, even with a proper roof. And you see one room is with iron shutters. I guess it's here where he keeps the mine gems. Yeah, the door is also iron. And I noticed right here the cotton tree. This one is almost ready, as it's soft like a deflated balloon. So very soon it will burst, and inside there will be that kind of fiber which you can use to make a fabric. Actually, this is exactly what locals do. And here's a typical African doggo. Here the guys are very nice and friendly. And sober, unlike the last time. They told us that they're in desperate need of water, as the nearest source of water is 20 kilometers from here, and still that water quality is much to be desired. So we'll share with them too. After that we'll head to the mining. Hope they'll let us dig. So here's the mine. It's 150 meters long. They've just blown a blast. You can see this cloud of dust. They don't recommend to go closer, but I still want to try to approach to show you how does it look from the inside. Look, what a huge and beautiful baobab! It's really huge. The guys explained why the green garnets are so expensive. Oh geez! The smell of gunpowder is still strong. I'll be explaining while you're watching the material with a tiny piece of this green garnet. So the reason is because they're very rare. For example, here the last time they've got a nice severite of a proper quality was a year ago. So the whole year after that the mine is working, people are coming here to dig, therefore they get paid, while no profit is made so far. According to the results of geological exploration, the first garnets will start showing up after 6 months only, if the data from scanners are true. Here it is. Do you see? Yes, it's a garnet, but the one which you can cut. So if you remember videos from previous minings, usually I could find 4 or 5 pieces of some gems just walking around. But here the whole team of workers with plasters and equipment haven't got a one piece over the last 12 months. So the mining is expensive as you have to pay workers. You have to pay for the fuels. As you can guess, here there is no electricity, so everything is powered by generators. You also pay for equipment, water, food, etc. And of course you pay for all of that to be delivered here. I read that severites are 10,000 times more rare gems than emeralds. Aha, a couple more. Thank you very much. Here you can see the crystal, which is still going to the trash, because you can't extract it without damaging. It will just crash. And this is what they call the fool's gold. I don't remember now the scientific name. Read the novel of Jack London if you want to know more about that. It's called fool's gold because inexperienced prospectors were often fooled by this stone. They were risking their life for it while it had nothing to do with the real gold. Oh, this one is pretty. I think I'll take it for my minerals collection. So to sum up, as you may see, it's difficult to find a good severite, but it's very profitable investment. And I'm lucky enough to have among my friends a guy who has a number of good green garnets, which I can get for very competitive price. Because as I explained previously, those garnets are with him for a very long time already. Actually, everything that you'll see later is from that collection, so if you want a nice tsavorite, I can find one for you. As I told you, tsavorites are not cheap, but still not as much expensive as emeralds. Moreover, personally, I think that tsavorites are much more beautiful. Yes. Okay. Let's go forward a bit. I like this guy a lot, by the way. He's very funny and kind. They all are actually so nice that I'm ready to buy from them everything, just because they seem to be very good people. So that's how it looks from the inside. You can see that it's basically just a hole. They don't use anything to support the walls, so it can just crush on your head anytime. And no, I'm not going to proceed further, as the smell of gunpowder is still too strong. We can't even breathe. Just imagine climbing in such 150 meters long, hole up and down the whole year, every day. Especially disappointing when you get nothing. So we share some water and go on. As tsavorites have volcanic origin, they randomly spread around the mountain. Therefore, there are hundreds of such small minings, and in one of them people do dig with their own hands because the river eroded the rocks. There you don't have to go underground or blast the gunpowder. That's why we are heading there. On this tree you can see bird weavers. That's the high time to apply my knowledge about Africa. Seems like I'm familiar here with so many things, even those ones I see for the first time. All because I've been reading heaps of books about it before. I can even still remember that the nest of bird weavers has separate exits as there are several families living there. Here it is, little yellow fella. Yeah, of course. Workers are laughing at me because for them these birds are just like pigeons for us. And here you can see their lunch. It was just a normal potatoes with spices. No meat. So the guys are leading me to that mining I was talking about. We are walking, and only now I understood why both women and men shave their heads. Just a minute ago the hornbush clung to my head and ripped out a good bunch of my hair. And taking into consideration how lush are their hair, I can imagine that they can get stuck in the hornbush forever if it gets them. And one more thing. When I read about how impenetrable the local bushes are, I couldn't even imagine that will be so much true. Look, the mining we are heading to is over there. Not that much far, actually. But between it and us there are these little bushes. And there is no way to go through them. The horns are sharp as knives and heavily tangled. It's the son of the owner of the mining is leading us, but since he got lost, that's okay. I love adventures. So after all we gave up. I wanted to have a look at that manual mining, but we got lost in the labyrinth of the bushes. So we decided not to waste time, because it's clear that in that spot there'll be no any valuable finds. So we are moving forward. It will be another hour on the road, and now we are heading to the mining of red garnets. But the workers from the village nearby told me a story. That place was initially called by Masai Comesco. Then the Bantu came there. As you can see, the most workers at minings are not Masai, as they don't find appropriate any kind of job but the water herding. So anyway, Bantu decided that Comesco is too difficult to pronounce. So they started calling their village Moscow. So this is the subject of endless jokes here. So I arrived to African Moscow. Moscow? Moscow. Well, I like local Moscow. Pretty much nice, and people are friendly. Hello, Moscow. The famous Moscow citizens. Do you like Moscow? Okay, they don't speak English. But obviously they want water. And one guy brought me what? What's this? Yep, the fake garnet, of course. This is just an ordinary quartz under the layer of glass. And you can imagine how many people buy it. I mean both the story and the stone. Because people would think that if they made such a long way to the mining, how could it be possible that these crystals are not real ones? But the truth is that at every mining there will be this kind of fakes which locals will suggest you to buy as a precious stone. Here it's even funnier, as they sell such stuff to each other. Because over the last 10 years there have never been even one foreigner here. So when you meet another gems hunter, ask yourself if he has ever seen a true mining. Well, to sum up, fakes can be placed even at the place of mining, so stay alarmed. This is the central street in Moscow, with electric generator. Have a look. Looks luxury, doesn't it? And here is the central shopping mall. Good news is that here Moscow citizens showed me where to find that manual mining. May I remind you that all of that used to be an ancient river bed. The flow brought severites here. So as soon as the softer rocks were destroyed with time, tsavorites started to appear in the layers, as they are harder. You still can trace the river's direction. So soon I will join the manual mining. I understand that we are going to dig with shovels. What I don't understand is how we are going to wash what we dig out, providing that there is no water here. Okay, let's have a look. Of course, some of the locals came up to have a look at Nzungo, meaning me, the foreigner. Aha, seems like our digger likes to indulge from time to time, but the rest looks fine. And this is the answer how do they wash. They just use the sifter, as the material is very soft. Yeah, that looks familiar. So after that, we use the shovels to lift the materials up and sift. They think that Nzunga doesn't know how to hold a pickaxe. I'll have to show them a masterclass.
No.
Yeah? Aha, another direction. Okay, I have to knees, I'm too tall for that.
Hata kilima hivyo hivyo tu bado. Inaonekana hapo vizuri. Mbaya kabisa.
So, what can I say? Here it's much easier. Not so hot and humid as we are now in the mountains. Okay, now it's time to lift all up. Ha, they thought the Mzunga is only good for watching and walking in circles around. Well, watch me working. Yeah, I'm capable of that too. The next stage. Start, yes.
Есть.
Okay, you walk here. I already like it. Aha, one more. And what's this? No?
No.
There are lots of shiny stuff here, but we need exactly the green garnets. Well, it appeared that here you can do this stage without water at all. Okay. Number 3. I told you I'm lucky. Nothing more. Okay, I need water. That's enough, thank you. So I stepped aside to rest under the shadow and show you what I've got. So these are natural tsavorites, though still not for cutting, of course, due to their poor quality. You see, it's covered with crackles, so when you try to cut it, it'll just fall apart. I'm still going to take it with me for my collection. This one is also not the quality we need, but I'll try to bargain for them anyway. Good or bad, still I mine it myself, so it will make a good memory. I assume they shall be something like $10 each. This one is a fake. Most probably just quartz glazed with glass. Some of those guys are trying to make fun of me or to earn money. They even pointed at the place where it was, so I wouldn't miss it. This fake crystal must have traveled far to get here. So one more time, dear friends, this happens every single time, at every single mining in any corner of the world. I've seen it so many times, so don't expect that you or anyone else will be excluded from this test, as they know that not a professional will definitely go wild about such a find and pay any money to get it.
Мы уходим, и тут случилось странное, да? Африканцев обычно все называют обманщиками, что тут вор на воре, и вором погоняет. Смотрите, я, значит, подошел к этой толпе и говорю...
I came up to the guys and told them that I know this was a fake. They didn't deny, told that it was just a joke, and gave it to me as a souvenir. I'm not sure why that happened. Maybe they realized that it was wrong of them to do so, or maybe they just were explained that I'm a friend with the owner of the mining.
В прямом контакте с владельцем добычи нахожусь. Может быть, поэтому. Но, в общем, произошло нечто интересное.
So, time to summarize. Obviously, the industrial mining doesn't bring much of the results now. What is the feature of industrial mining? You locate the deposit in a rock and then just follow its pattern steadily. In this case, usually the result is guaranteed. So the deposit trace cannot get away from you. You see where does it go and just follow. But the problem is there are no rocks with fixated deposits in them. These all are sediments. Therefore, the gems are randomly spread everywhere. They can be covered with ancient layers of volcanic ashes or just sand. Therefore, you can spend 1 week until you get the gem, or 1 year, without any profit. No one ever knows, actually. Moreover, this spot is on designated area, where there is no food, water, or electricity. So, as you may guess, many people don't even try. For example, in their previous manual mining over the last 6 months, they found just 2 tsavorites. One was sold for $18,000, another for $7,000. It might be, of course, the situation that someone had found the proper gemstone and somehow managed to hide it from others. But I really doubt that. Here they usually show everything to each other. It's funny, by the way, that they all came up to me because they decided I'm lucky as I found 2 pieces. One old guy even invited me to dig a bit in his spot, so to attract some luck to him. I'm having some thoughts about arranging camping here for a week or so. I believe that I might get lucky and find a good one. That would be wonderful, wouldn't it? So that's pretty much it about green garnets. Now you're a specialist too.